Ready to take your favorite WagerTalk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The WagerTalk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like WagerTalk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report, plus browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for WagerTalk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Thursday to you now here on this 19th day of January 2023, and college hoops in full effect. Loaded card here tonight from the East Coast out through the West Coast here. Plenty of games to choose from. We're going to break down three of the more popular ones, see if we can find a couple of angles and edges, and of course some best bets. And we're going to do it with three of the guys crushing it here this month in college hoops as we welcome back in Double R1L Steve Merrill in the house. Rob Veno back in action with us here today, as is Tony Finn, on this crazy customer appreciation Thursday, where you guessed it, it's our way of saying thank you to you guys and the opportunity to hop on board best bets with all of these guys for as little as $11, guys. Doesn't get any better than this. Steve Merrill, talk to me here, my man. Plenty of college basketball, NBA action. Great night last night for you again. What are you following it up with tonight at WagerTalk?
Yeah, a great night is understatement. A perfect 3-0 sweep on the best bets. Also won the free play as well. Check out those free plays. I try to put them up every day. It's usually a game that was just a bit outside from making the cut. You know, I recommend treating them as 1% to 2% bankroll builders. But when you're ready to take the real plunge and make some serious money, you want those 4% best bets. 3-0 sweep last night. Now 7-1 this week on best bets. Had an NFL play on Monday, and all the others have been basketball because that's the time of year it is. And I've got two basketball best bets for $11 Thursday. It is Customer Appreciation Day. You can also get the All Access today for just $19. That's a fantastic deal. That works out to just, I believe, $9.50 per play. I will check with Rob Veno to make sure that's right. But a huge day at WagerTalk.com on Thursday.
Oh, man, he's hitting Veno up for math already. Veno, didn't take him long to try and get that going, man. How about you, Veno? What's going on tonight as you continue to cash some tickets here on the hardwood? What's going on tonight for us?
Yeah, well, we got in early, Joe, with this NBA game from Paris.
Yes.
Had that game posted earlier today. Player prop from that game, interesting quote that I spotted, and I think will pay off. So it's up and available right now, WagerTalk.com. Beyond that, for the customers that have been so loyal to WagerTalk, later on this afternoon, the NBA board, it's going to be a stacked board. Got plays that I really like here. And just to jump on what Steve said about 4% best bets, it's been a great run for myself way back to late October. So it's almost a 3-month run now, where we picked up 82 units on the 4% plays, shorter term 8 and 3, last 11. But NBA, a couple of best bets coming here this evening. And as a token of appreciation for $11 Thursday here, we'll call this, going to post the first NFL playoff game up here, 4% best bet as well. So keep tuning in, WagerTalk.com. As soon as we complete here, we'll have plenty of plays up and available. $11 Customer Appreciation Thursday.
Gotta love it. Yes, just our way of saying thank you. And Tony, Finn, whether it be the NBA or college hoops here tonight, or even the NFL, a little something for everybody. What do you got posted ready to go on a Customer Appreciation Thursday?
I have everything ready to go. I was just, as I was listening to you guys talk, I'm clicking through on I put my final college. I actually have a pretty large college card, which is unusual. Maybe I shortened it as much as I could without feeling like I was going to be missing a positive, right? Which, as we all know, what that turns out to be usually. But I got college, NBA, and I've had my NFL up since Monday. I have I've had in the lifetime of Wager Talk here, which is 8 years, going back to 2014. I've had 5 big ticket teasers, and I do have my 5th, or I should say, I had 4. I have my 5th this weekend, which I really like, and also a dead president's report upcoming. So come get it, and today will be the day to get it. Check in, $11, right? So.
$11 is the way to go, guys. Here, all 3 ready to roll here tonight, and so are we. Let us start out in the Big Ten, and what a battle this is going to be, huh? How about Michigan State taking on Rutgers? 127 is the total. Michigan State laying 3 right now in this matchup, and this used to be an easy, just check it as a W for good old Izzo and Michigan State against Rutgers basketball. But boy, oh boy. Last couple of years, a totally different story here. And Rutgers, listen, they've had some issues, little inconsistency here, especially on the road. Tough place to play, Michigan State. But without Hall again here, I think, for Michigan State, who's still a game-time decision, it's not the same Michigan State team here. So what do we do, Rob, Veno? Start us off here. Are we looking total? Are we looking side? How do you approach it?
Well, I'll start off by saying I'm going to look under 127, which has been pushed up from 124. But I'll go back to what you were saying, Joe, about the recent history between these two, the last 2 years, the blowouts by Rutgers over Michigan State, both in Piscataway at the rack. Now they come to Michigan State to play. And so you can see a little bit of payback angle there for MSU. And I think situationally, you could make a case for the Spartans, who come in off back-to-back losses last week after having won 3 in a row, lose at home to Purdue in a heartbreaker 64-63, lose to Illinois 75-66 last week. Meanwhile, Rutgers, in off of back-to-back wins, and they're 13-5 straight up and against the spread this season. So I think situationally, you could make a case for Michigan State off back-to-back losses now at home and with the payback. I didn't play it. I prefer to stay under 127 here. Both teams, very slow pace of play, right? Michigan State, number 309 in adjusted tempo. Rutgers, 270. Interesting note here, guys, that I found as far as transition offense is concerned. It surprised me that although Michigan State is number 309 in adjusted offensive tempo, they are number 75 in the country in transition field goal attempts, which is defined as a field goal attempt within 10 seconds of gaining possession. So there's 75 in the nation, which would lead you to believe that they can be quick when they want to be. The problem is that if you're talking about off of a defensive rebound and getting into transition, that number 75 goes all the way down to number 148, meaning that if they get steals and turnovers and runouts, that's great. Does Rutgers turn it over a whole bunch? Is Rutgers sloppy with the basketball? Not necessarily. So I don't know if Michigan State can run here against the Rutgers team, which, by the way, number 9 in the country in transition defense. They just don't allow people to score within 10 seconds of possession, only 18.6% of the time. So I think those match up for a lower scoring game. Again, 2 elite defenses here. Rutgers defensive statistics stand out, number 3 in the country. They don't allow 3-pointers. And if you ask me, guys, if Rutgers has anything as far as an asset goes, it would be the 3-point shooting here for a couple of their guys, Joey Hauser in particular. But I just don't know that they can get it. And on Rutgers' side, I don't see a lot of second chance points. It's a team that doesn't shoot well to begin with. But Michigan State's one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country. So you start adding all these things up and you just wonder where 127 points are going to come from. I don't think they're getting there unless overtime or something strange happens. Give me under 127, Rutgers, Michigan State.
127 certainly has been getting steamed up and away here. But The team averaging just allowing about 61 points a game here on its Power 5 opponents there, Merrill. Rutgers don't allow a whole lot of points. They don't get a ton either, but they certainly don't allow them. What do you think we're going to get tonight with these two teams?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's very strange to see Rutgers ranked top 15 in both KenPom and in the Segregant ratings. Actually, 16th in KenPom, so we'll say top 20. I didn't think when I do my college basketball top 25 videos this time of year, I might have Rutgers in the mix in the near future, but we'll probably be talking about them. And the reason being is because they play excellent defense. They're the third most efficient defense out of 363 teams. Where they struggle is offensively. There's just 112. You contrast that to Michigan State, who's barely top 60 offense as well. They're top 40 defensively. So these are two defenses that hold the edge. So hard to disagree with the under. Like Rob said, both teams played very slow, 270 and 300 tempos. Here's my concern, though. I think maybe this is why we've seen the total go up 3 points, like you said, Joe, from 124 up to 127, is neither team turns the ball over. Low turnovers, so that means you have less dead time. You know, both teams will have scoring opportunities. And also, both teams shoot free throws extremely well. Rutgers 74%, Michigan State 75.5%. So with the 3-point spread here and what should be a tight game down the stretch, if one team gets up by 5 or 6, which could happen, you know, you're going to see some fouls. So I think that's the concern with the total. So if you like the under, I'd play the first half under. Instead of the game under 127, first half under 59. And this has actually not moved, Joe. It opened 59. Obviously, they come out a little bit later, but it has not moved. So obviously, you're also paying a premium because it's 68 second half, 59 first half. But I think this is one of those games where I'll take the under in the first half. I'm going to play it because two good free throw shooting teams does concern me down the stretch.
You know, not a lot of teams, Finn, walk into the Breslin Center and you know, walk out with a win. It's not an easy place to play at all. It does feel like, hey, all right, who's got the last possession of the game, makes the shot, game over. How do you approach this game here tonight? The dog, the home team, where are you going to go?
Well, I think that's spot on. So pretty much, I think it's the difference in this game. If this was on a neutral court, I probably would lean Rutgers because Malik Hall will not play. Right, he's going to miss the second straight for the Spartans. So, with that said, everything that's been said so far, I think, is just almost perfect. You have a Rutgers team that is defense heavy. They don't shoot the ball very well. It's never going to be pretty to watch them play and win. It's not going to be an aesthetic masterpiece. That's for goodness sakes. And Rutgers does a great job of not giving up second chance points, as these guys pointed out. They run players off the line, and force you into mid-range, mediocre, high percentage shot. 15th, I think they rank about 15th in the nation at 3-point defensive percentage. So this game, I'm nowhere near this game. I would probably agree with Rob that an under, if I'm going to play somewhere, it's probably going to be south of this total. But it's a coin flip, in my opinion. The fact is, at Michigan State, you should be looking for the Spartans, as you just mentioned, at home on their floor, having that just enough edge to knock down maybe a couple more three-pointers than most teams do and come out with a sneaky low-scoring win.
All right. Good stuff there, guys. Big Ten action across the board here tonight. Always a good time and exciting game. So is this next one here. But this one's going to be a little further out west here. And boy, oh boy, if you thought the Big Ten were slow-paced and low-scoring, get a load of this. UCLA taking on Arizona State. 5 now is what Arizona's going to be getting as a home dog. 134.5. Not a ton of movement on the total or the side for that matter. And yet UCLA, considered by many a top 3 or 5 team in the country, are they going to get it done at Arizona State, who has been surprisingly efficient here? Steve Merrill, what do you think we get here with Arizona State tonight as a home dog?
So the other night I caught National Lampoon's Vacation, which I've only seen a couple hundred times. One of the best lines in that movie is when they go, "This isn't the car I ordered." He goes, "If you think you hate it now, what do you drive it?" So that's kind of like this game, right? You think you hate it now, what do you watch it? But no, this will be an interesting matchup. UCLA, very good defensive team, very good all-around team. We've talked about, I thought they would regress this year. They haven't, though. although they are starting to show a little bit of hesitation on offense. They're all the way down to 17th efficient. I believe a few weeks ago they were top 10 both offense and defensive efficiency. They're one of the few teams in the country. Now it's 17th on offense, 4th on defense. Obviously really good defensively, and they do play fairly slow, 237th tempo. You contrast that with their opponent here in Arizona State. And, you don't see a lot of points here. Arizona State is a team on the season. It's playing 172, so that's right around average. So I do think UCLA will dictate the tempo. But Arizona State, much weaker offensively, 86th efficient offense, 31st on defense. So both defenses are the better units on the court. UCLA is better at both ends of the court. And it's a pretty competitive price range here. You're basically asking Arizona State to probably win this game outright when it's only a 5-point line. And I'm not sure I'm in that role where I'm going to do that yet. I do respect home court zone. We talked about this a lot on the shows this week. The students are back. Arizona State, as Tony Finn, I'm sure knows, is one of the top 2 or 3 party schools each and every year in those rankings that Tony Finn reads and widely recognizes. So I do think it'll be a raucous atmosphere tonight. Maybe that gets the Sun Devils to the window. They have won 4 straight, but I still think UCLA is the better overall team.
UCLA, I mean, certainly the numbers bear that out, but Arizona State is built completely the opposite way of what UCLA is. It's all about their backcourt, and they got a couple of pretty good ones, Finn, there for Hurley and company. And they have certainly made life difficult for teams like, Arizona and a few others. So what do you think here tonight against UCLA at home at Arizona State?
My first question is, does Steve actually know that's where I went to school, was Arizona State? And the only reason I went there, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I went there, that and was the 19th state, and all the girls from Cali.
Hello.
It didn't go to UC. They came over to Arizona State at that point in time, in the 1800s, to drink. So the only 2 Bruins losses, Joe, only 2 Bruins losses, Newport, 4-0, True games, et cetera. And Mick Cronin, this is finally really his team, his players, the guys he recruited. There's some aberration there, obviously, but I've been there long enough to know that, as mentioned with Joe, I don't know if it was Steve or it was Rob, but they mentioned that some of the regression, what they believe to be regression for UCLA offensively, was coming full circle. Mick Cronin's a different kind of guy. He's going to always be, defense first. And if you've watched Arizona State play, Steve mentioned it too. This is absolutely the truth. If you think Michigan State and Rutgers is going to be difficult to watch because it's not going to be anything pretty, this is going to be a helter-skelter, and Arizona State's going to make it that way. It's going to be helter-skelter. If you've watched them play, they're reckless. They're careless. They value the possession of a ball like a $2 you-know-what, and it is not pretty to watch them play. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. We go back to when Hurley kind of made his mark, was 3 years ago when they had Kansas. They went into Allen Fieldhouse. Hurley did. One of his early years there was Jayhawks. He himself who in 10, 6 tough, incredible. And now here's the deal. If they control tempo, as Steve just mentioned, in Tempe, then they're going to win it. Not be convincing. The final score may not be. I think watch the game and they control the tempo, control this game from start to finish and win it. I really like the Bruins tonight, and I think maybe exposed a little bit, especially offense.
All right, he's not buying State here tonight. Should be interesting. Should be an interesting game. One of the things I've noticed about Arizona State is I love this kid Cambridge, number 1. UCLA, a little soft in the middle there, maybe in the paint. This kid is a beast, and also they're running 9-10 deep early. Like he's rotating all of these kids. They got depth that I don't know might play a part here later on in this game. Are you a believer in Arizona State to keep this thing close?
Well, let's continue on with that, Joe, real quick here, that depth, because what I noticed, I think I was on either last week or the week before when they played Oregon.
Yep.
And Oregon was getting healthy. And we sat here as a panel and talked about a defensive struggle with Oregon. And Arizona State decided they were going to push tempo, and they wound up scoring a huge number in that game. And you could see them doing that again. Who wants to come down and play against a set UCLA half-court defense? Nobody, right? UCLA's gone 13 straight games now where the opponent hasn't gotten more than 66 points against them. So, you're bashing your head against a brick wall if you play half-court. The question is, as Tony mentioned, is ASU efficient enough to go quick against this team who happens to have real good perimeter players that are veteran, Jaquez and Campbell? I don't know that they are, but I think they'll try. And if they're halfway successful, it's going to be a close game down the stretch. Here's what we know about Arizona State. Here's the conflict for UCLA offensively, right? 61, almost 62% of their points come from two-point range. Arizona State's the fourth best two-point defense in the nation. They defend the middle. They defend the rim. So UCLA is going to have to make some threes. And back to Tony's point, because it was going to be where I led this, this happens to be the most Mick Croninist team that he's had at UCLA. And this is like watching Cincinnati all over again, right? Slow, paint dry, grind it out, 58-56. Listen, if it goes that way, UCLA may cover, but I'm not quite in the boat with Steve where 5 is kind of like asking to win outright here. I think 5, more than a couple of hoops here, becomes big in a lower scoring game, right? I just don't know which way to play. I think I would prefer under because you're asking for a 68-67 game if you get to 135. And if you want to use the point spread, then you're probably asking for a 70-65 game, which I don't know that you'll see that here. But I do think ASU will push. Arizona State hasn't been a good home team against the spread, 3-4. But boy, they've been a good underdog. 5-1 against the spread as a dog. So there's a lot of contradictory parts here, Joe. I think if you put me, the proverbial gun to the head, I think I would try under 134.5.
All right, under it is here. Mick Cronin, shocker. UCLA under, shocker. All right, let's take a look at one more game. We'll head back to the Big Ten here as Illinois, red hot Illinois, laying 6.5, taking in Indiana here tonight, who is trying to get back on track. Would be great here. Certainly, they are one team on the road and a whole different team at home, but they are going to find themselves here in a hostile environment at 8:30 tonight. 145.5, interesting total. That seems to be coming down just a hair. Boy, oh boy. Defense, we can get some tonight, but we can also get a couple of teams that can drop some points on it. So, Tony, Finn, what do we think we're getting here? Is this a shootout, or is this is Illinois as good as the market thinks they are right now?
Well, I think if you watched Illinois, if you watched the Fighting Illini in their last game, I wrote, and Steve and I were on the WagerTalk today, and I talked a little bit about this earlier. I played, and most of the guys, you guys, other neighbors, and degenerates that hang around the patio here at the Ten household occasionally. Anytime you're laying double digits or close to double digits in a Big Ten conference game, you're insane. Especially if that lay or that wood is laid by the visiting team. It's a lot of points. A lot of points in a couple of games tonight with the visitors laying it. In this game, Illinois was better than I think they're better than a lot of my coworkers and my peers think they are. If you watch them last game against Minnesota, really they struggled miserably in the first half, and they come out of the gate, basically out of intermission, and put up a 15-2 or 15-3 run, game set match. Now, obviously, Indiana's a better team than Minnesota, but Indiana's been pretty inconsistent this year. Some of the games they actually considered to be part of, they were not. They got blown out. And I don't want any part of that, Joe, when you're going into Champaign and playing a physical, no pretty team. Illinois is no pretty team. A physical Illini team. I would, if I'm in this room and I'm not in this room tonight, and I'm in some Big Ten rooms tonight, I would be on Illinois though.
Well, if I could trust the offense here, Veno, of this Indiana team outside of Trace Jackson Davis, which appears to be the only guy we can trust to be able to score some points. Illinois protects the perimeter like no other. Not going to get a whole lot of open threes. Don't know if I trust them on the inside here. It feels like this game could get ugly. Do you think it's going to be closer than what the market says it will?
Yeah, I'm surprised at the market, Joe. Both ends. I'm surprised that Indiana money showed up, and I'm surprised that so much under money showed up. And I guess the under money would show up, to your point. Maybe people question whether or not Indiana can score. Indiana, for what it's worth, field goal percentage-wise, 47 against Wisconsin, 44 against Penn State, then 51.6, 54.2, 50, 58. They had 4 straight games prior to the last 2 of 50% or better. So they can shoot. They can score. What they can't do is play any defense. And against this team, which Brad Underwood should just nickname, Big 12 Midwest. I mean, look at the players on Illinois, right? I mean, Terrence Shannon, Texas Tech, Matthew Meyer, Baylor, Dane Danger, Baylor, all the stars are Big 12 stars. And I think that, all of us in this handicapping industry, we talk about this all the time where college basketball is concerned. You have to handicap it in sections of the season. And this happens to be a section with Illinois where they didn't return anybody. Brad Underwood had to figure it out. And it looks like they figured it out at this point in time because they're on quite a roll here this month. 5 games, all versus Big Ten opponents, 4-1 against the spread, higher field goal percentage than their opponent in every single game, held their opponent to 27% or less three-point shooting in 3 of their last 4 games. So everything adding up here for Illinois. I don't know how much of it has to do with Sky Clark leaving this team as a guard, right? He's on the team. He leaves the team earlier this month since he took off their 4-0. Maybe that was a problem. I'm not sure, but I know that Illinois has the better players. I think Tony talked about, or you talked about Trace Jackson Davis, and he's got to go up against 3 trees. The size up front for Illinois is incredibly, significantly more than what Indiana has to offer here. So I don't think they can contend with that. I think Illinois' offense is coming around. I would be right with you, Joe. Can Indiana get me enough to get this thing over? I think they can now that it's at 144.5. I would or it's even at 144 in a lot of spots. I would probably try it that way, but I also wouldn't argue anybody off of Illinois the way they're playing at this point in time. Indiana's been a mess. Somebody said it about their road performances. 0-4-1 against the spread on the road. 4 of those 5 games have gone over. The average in those 4 overs, 149.6, almost 150 per game. So take your choice, Illinois or over. I prefer to go with over.
All right, leading towards the over here. How about it, Merrill, Big Ten action? Illinois, you want to get in front of this train at home, or you think Jackson Davis can, by himself, end up keeping this thing within the number?
Yeah, Brian Power actually broke this game down in detail in Wager Talk today with myself and Teddy Covers. And yes, I'm filling in for the Prez all week because it is a Prez-free zone. Nothing says Customer Appreciation Day better than having the Prez out of the country on vacation. He's not even in North America right now, so we're pretty safe. It is Prez-free to say the least. But yeah, so check that out. It's on the replay, of course, on Wager Talk TV and on the downloadable Wager Talk TV app on your favorite mobile device. Brian Power actually liked Indiana in this game, by the way. He thinks they're a play-on team, he was saying. Teddy pushed back a little bit, so go watch that banner. They both made good sides for both teams here, or good arguments, rather, for each side in this game. The sharp money, though, is on Indiana, and I say that first of all because it was 7 last night. It's 6.5 now, but there is one book, a global book, if you will, which I think is probably one of the sharpest, if not the sharpest. It's been sitting 6 all day. So I thought that was interesting. So I do think the sharp money is on Indiana in this game. And Indiana does not rely heavily on the 3. And you mentioned, Joe, the strong perimeter defense for Illinois, and it is strong. 27% allowed at home this year from 3. But Indiana takes a small percentage of their shots from three-point range. They take 30% of their overall field goal attempts. That might sound like a lot, but most teams take 37, 40%. So Indiana doesn't rely on the outside shooting. They hit 50% from the field. That's because they do get a lot of transition two-point baskets. So I think it's a favorable matchup here, and I would lean towards what I think is a live dog in Indiana plus the 6.5.
All right, like a little live dog situation here tonight with Indiana. Another Big Ten matchup should be A whole lot of fun here tonight. Huge card across the board in college hoops, guys. Opportunities will present themselves. And, of course, it is, as you heard, Customer Appreciation Day. And as much as we all appreciate the Prez leaving this week, we do have, though, $11 best bets available right now with all of these guys over at WagerTalk.com. So certainly take advantage of Appreciation Day today with those $11 best bets. Let's talk best bets here on the show. We'll go around the horn, figure out which one of these games these guys like a little bit more than the rest. And Tony Finn, kick us off here, my man. Which game did you circle for us as a best bet?
I'm gonna go late game, late start, should I say, out here on the West Coast. It's a Big West event, and the Rainbow Warriors are on the on the main island. They're off the main island and playing here in the States, in Cali, and they're taking on the Anteaters of Cal Irvine. Now, I like this game under for several reasons. First off, Rainbow Warriors are albeit 14-4, 9-7 against the spread, offensively challenged. They shoot and score majority of their points from the three-point line. One of the better teams in the nation doing such. The Anteaters protect the three-point line pretty darn good. One of the best teams in the nation. Under 133 in this game. Last time out, Rainbow Warriors scored 58 points, 19 of 51 from the floor, 5 of 19 from three-point line. Under 133. Anteaters, Rainbow Warriors.
All right, getting a little anteater going here tonight with Hawaii. Been a surprisingly good team here this year. Talk to us, Veno. Which way are you rolling for a best bet tonight?
Yeah, I usually talk about one that we've talked about here on the show, Joe, and I'll go back to the most recent one. We talked about the Illinois-Indiana game where, when I was talking there, when I prepared my notes for this show, the total had been bet down to 144, but we've seen take back the other way now, back to 145.5, which is the way I lean. I just don't see Indiana being good enough defensively to stop Illinois from scoring. If they're in chase mode this game, it kind of helps. It would help if they could stay within this 6.5, 7 point range, because that's the range in college hoop where you just get 90 seconds of continual fouls. If a team is down by anywhere from 6 to 9, 5 to 9, you're going to get foul. But I think Illinois is rounding it to offensive form at this point in time. They've got the two best offensive players on the floor in my estimation. Jackson Davis, probably the best on the, I guess you could argue him as one of the two best, but I like Shannon and Meyer here. Real quick. 4 games that Indiana's gone over in conference play, those totals hit 151, 167, 190, and 146 against Nebraska, who couldn't score if the 4 of us and one other guy were defending them. So give me over 145.5, Illinois, Indiana.
All right, there you go. Big Ten in full effect here tonight. How about you, Merrill? Which way you looking here tonight for a best bet?
Yeah, once again, thank you to all the customers out there. It is Customer Appreciation Day at WagerTalk.com for this Thursday. That means every best bet is just $11, including the advanced NFL playoff best bets as well. I've got some strong NFL playoff best bets for this weekend. Also an NBA and a college basketball best bet for Thursday night, all just $11. You get the all access for $19. A quick reminder, red hot, 7-1, perfect 3-0 sweep last night, 7-1 this week on best bets. NFL Fade the Public Playoff Edition will be available this Friday as well. So hit subscribe, hit the bell for instant alerts when these videos go live. Going to go a little under the radar here for an over selection tonight for the free play, and that goes at 7 Eastern. Purdue Fort Wayne and Wright State over 148.5. This total's gone up a couple points today, and needless to say, that is sharp money pushing the over here. The public is not betting this game between the Raiders and Purdue Fort Wayne. Mastodons. And what's the difference between a mammoth and a mastodon? I Googled that. Mammoth, I think, was a little bit bigger, but they're both extinct. There will be some points in this game tonight, though. 2 teams that play up-tempo, so I've got no problem playing the over. And Fort Wayne relies heavily on the three-point shot. They take 28 threes per game. They'll be facing a Wright State three-point defense that's given up over 37% from beyond the arc in their home games this year. Meanwhile, Wright State shoots over 50.5%. They should have some good offensive success tonight as well. Fort Wayne, Wright State over 148.5 goes at 7 Eastern Thursday night. Don't forget all those strong best bets for just $11 tonight on Thursday. It's a very special day at WagerTalk.com.
All right, good stuff there. And our friends from the goldsheet.com, they've got a play of the day as well. And they are going to be looking at IUPUI, Rob Veno. Look at that. Taking on Oakland. And they like under the total in this game, mostly because, well, IUPUI, probably the worst three-point shooting team in the country. They also don't score a whole lot. What was it? Was 3 weeks ago, 42 points was their total. Both of these teams, they played twice last year and ended up in 123 and 127. And I don't think our friends at the Gold Sheet are buying we're going to get a whole lot of points in this meeting as well. So under the total for our friends at thegoldsheet.com. And of course, we encourage you guys to visit them. Check out the write-ups on other games as well as the data information. All good stuff there. Knowledge is power. Check out thegoldsheet.com here today. And I'm going to go out with to me, this has got blowout written all over, and I don't care what the number is. I think it's 10 or 11, but the Stanford Cardinals are going to run over the Oregon State Beavers here tonight. Why? Because, and far be it for me not to back a Beaver here, but absolutely not. This team is atrocious, Veno. I mean, absolutely atrocious, and they're even worse on the road. So I do think Stanford going to like a little home cooking here tonight. This has got blowout written all over it. Give me the Stanford Cardinals to get it done. To recap one more time here as we have Tony Finn looking at the Anteaters and the Rainbows going under that 133 mark here. A little late night degenerate special, while Merrill going Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Wright State. Expect some points there over 148.5. Veno, too, likes some points here in this Indiana-Illinois game up and over the 145.5. I'm going to go Stanford, Lady 11 over Oregon State. Going to be a rough night for them, while the Gold Sheet, they like the under in the Oakland IUPUI game here. And, of course, Customer Appreciation Day, guys, as we've told you over at WagerTalk.com. What does that mean? Visit all of these guys right now. $11. That's right, $11 best bets here. Rob Veno, Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, guys. Visit their pages today. Plenty of great action on tap here tonight, whether it be college hoops, NBA, NFL bets are already up, NHL action across the board. Little something for everyone. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of that customer appreciation package. And we'll be back again tomorrow heading into the weekend. Plenty of college basketball, great conference matchups, and we'll be breaking those games down for you tomorrow as well. Until then, on behalf of Tony Finn, Steve Merrill, and Rob Veno, we appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all your plays here tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
June 2014, WagerTalk joined Twitter. August 2014, Prez loaded the first ever picks at WagerTalk. September 2014, Marco D'Angelo and Gianni the Greek filmed the first ever video for WagerTalk TV. Fast forward to today, and we now have over 58,000 Twitter followers, 110,000 subscribers on YouTube, and have become the premier brand in sports betting. So thank you. We truly appreciate everyone who has supported this amazing journey. And on Thursday, January 19th, at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, all daily picks packages that day will be priced at $11, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35. And all one-day all access, normally priced at $39, will be cut in half and priced at only $19. No coupons will be needed. All handicappers at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo are included in Customer Appreciation Day. And discounts will go live at midnight, Wednesday, January 18th.